Happy New Year's 2024. You're now with your host, Richie Rich, and my man, Down Payment Dillan. It is the one and only Sold in 60, the #1 timeshare podcast in the world. And today's guest, his name is Rizk Toki. This young man is about 19 years old, just been in the game for about 6 months, made money. He's going to share with us his journey, and we about to tap in and see what that's like. Rizk, welcome to the show. I know you made money early in the game. We know what's going on, so let's get right to it, man. What's popping, man?
Hey, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate you having me on here.
We appreciate you pulling up.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Shoot, it's 2024. You just got in the game 6 months ago. 6 months ago, right?
Yeah, end of June I started, the 24th.
End of June, the 24th. So, end of June. So what? That's like you saw the summer wave, and then you had this little break, right? There was a little break because after the summer, we get what? September, October. Then we pick back up in November, and then December really gets popping, right?
Yeah, December was popping.
So let me ask you this: how did you even end up in timeshare industry? How did that happen?
Oh man, that's actually you want the short version or the long version? 'Cause that's a story.
Yeah,
We got time.
All right, so I was 16, man, and I used to work at McDonald's,
yeah.
and I had just got fired from my job. And I was depressed because, man, I was trying to save up money, buy a car, like take some hoes out, you know how it goes. I was 16.
For sure.
I went back home, and I was applying at Panda Express. And I had a family friend over who knew a guy who was married to a woman who got a son that worked admin at Westgate. And she was like, why are you applying for fast food? I can get you at this resort $15 an hour. Why don't you apply? So she made a phone call, and then her connect made a call. And eventually it put me on with my future manager in the admin department. And I had done the interview process. I ended up getting a job in admin. From there, I used to run reports, man. I watched the salespeople make money, talk about how they got no degree. They was making more money than doctors. And, man, everybody just kind of convinced me to come out. And it was a great scapegoat to drop out of school, so. Because I didn't really want to do school either. And I've been here since, I guess.
So let me bring it back. So you working in admin. You're doing in admin. They're doing turning in the deals that the salespeople write, and you're looking at these numbers and you're like, okay, whatever this means. At what point did you say, how much did they get paid off of this sale? And when you did that calculation, what was your first thought?
Well, like every single day, we used to send out the reports for the numbers for the day, and we used to send it to the bosses, like the guys up there. And on the report, it would say a name, the business they wrote, and their commission. And I remember I looked at the top, and I'm not going to say no names, but the top person for that day had wrote $71,000. And right next to it said 13%. So I got a little curious, and I typed the number in. I was like, damn, that's what I make in 4 months. And I did the math. I was like, if they write this every single day, and obviously this wasn't realistic, I was like, damn, these people make over $1 million. Turned out not to be the case, but still. And just the fact that these people were so successful wearing like rollies and nice scarves, and they were wearing suits. And yeah, they show their money, but it's like you can see the money's really there. It's like I could see it.
Right.
And I watch people on a daily basis turn in a deal. And I know this guy just made $2,000, and I'm making $15 for typing it in the computer.
Yeah. Damn. Now I know that in the admin window, it's a different vibe. I've been back there, and it's a little bit more relaxing. And, you know, what's that like when they come to the window and there's pressure and they're like, I need this, I need that. And, you know, like, it's a different type of energy. Because behind putting together the deal is a different type. It's not to say serene, but it's not the same, you know?
Yeah, it's not the same. There's definitely pressure behind the window because the salesperson's pressure is like, they're putting it onto you. But at the time, what I didn't understand, which I understood but I didn't understand, was they had thousands of dollars on the line, and they didn't know when their next deal was coming. And the fate of that deal, knowing how rushed these families are kind of dependent a little bit on how fast I did my job, which in the grand scheme of things, anybody could have done my job. but it was like it needed to be done with haste. But it was kind of like dealing with the salespeople was a precursor to actually doing sales itself. Because like, yeah, the people would come up to me and be like, man, look, I need this done now, and they'd freak out. But I almost had to sell them on the fact that, look, I'm taking care of your shit. Even if I was busy as hell and their deal is 4 or 5 down the line, I'm like, look, man, I got you. Yours is coming. Like, you got to calm down. And part of the job was kind of like selling them on the fact that I was helping them. Yeah. Even though half the time I was just like pushing this shit aside.
Right. I get to it when I get to it.
That's funny.
Damn.
How do you treat the admin people now when you go up to the window?
I mean, I try to be respectful. I obviously understand how it was back then, or how it is back there. I'm sorry, but I try my best to not really put a rush on somebody or like be like, yo, do my shit now. Because a lot of time people be disrespectful, man. They come by and they think they're better than everybody.
Yeah.
Not everybody, but some people.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
And I try not to be like that. You know, it's just.
Yeah.
Have you got any of your admin buddies and brought them over to the other side, to the sales side?
Nah, man, I just came.
Got you.
I mean, I hit the floor with 2 people I used to work with, but other than them, nah, just me. Some people left before me. There was a sweet lady that used to work with us. She hit the floor before me. She's not here no more, but you know, everybody either makes a jump onto the floor or they move on to something else.
Got you.
I think there's a big pressure when it comes to coming out of one position to another, because you're around these salespeople for so long. They're like, yeah, you should come, man, come do it. And then it's other people are watching you. So like when you left that department, they're watching to see, well, do you make it or do you not make it? And there's some people I know that left admin that came to the floor and they just couldn't adapt fast enough, you know? So I think that you are like motivation for those people in different departments. You know, I've heard of many people that started from housekeeping or bell staff, and same thing, they see what's going on and they say, what's that up there? That's sales. And then they get into sales and they either make it or they don't make it. But when you make it, you're like the hope for those people.
I mean, I can definitely see what you're saying, because people say it, right? They'll tell me like, hey, look, man, you're the only one that survived. You're the only one that made it. Because truthfully, nobody on the sales floor where I work, at least, used to be admin. But at the same time, I don't think they should look at me like a ray of hope, because the fact that I used to be admin and the fact that I made it on the sales floor, yeah, it helped a little bit that, you know, I already knew everybody, people helped me out, but I don't think it should have any connection to what I'm doing on the floor. Yes, it was a stepping stone for me to achieve the opportunity that I had, but it's not like I'm on the floor because I was an admin. It just happens to be that I was admin and I made it on the floor. Mm-hmm. So whenever people think like, oh, Rizk, he did well on the floor, he used to be admin, they shouldn't think it like that. They should just think Rizk did well on the floor, wasn't anything before. Because coming from admin, at least in my opinion, is the same as if you came from bell staff or if you would have came from housekeeping or from another company or from straight out of high school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you're not directly working with the owners that's on the table at the time, right? You in the back.
Yeah, like I had a little bit of product knowledge going into it, but it wasn't like I knew sales pitches or anything like that coming into it. Right. I didn't realize the stress I'd be going into. I didn't realize how my day-to-day would be. It's like, that would be the equivalent of saying, like, man, you've been watching NBA games courtside, you're going to be good on the floor. Like, it don't correlate, you know? Yeah. I had never got a shot. I never did sales before. Because, I don't know, I don't think that it goes together.
Well, know? I don't mean like they think that you're successful because you was admin. I'm saying that it's hope to, I don't have to work for $15 an hour forever. There's more opportunity out there. Like Patricia James, I'll just throw names out there. Patricia James was food and beverage. You know the same ladies that changed the potatoes and the eggs? That's what Patricia James did to become, and she worked with my parents. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you the story. My dad told her, you should do this. And said, come with me on a ride. And took her on a ride, and she watched what he did, and she was like, how the heck do you sell these people? I think I can do that. And she got her real estate license, got in the game. This lady has been in the game, I just said, with my parents, right? And just the other day, they praised her for writing. I think she wrote a little over $1 million in 6 months or whatever. But this is the person that's old school, you know what I'm saying? But again, the same people that you see that's that's on food and beverage that don't really speak English. They come from like the immigrants. They say they see what's going on the sales floor. They see the salespeople moving and shaking. You know, there's a one lady that comes and always asks for donations, and we real generous and will give. But then they need to know there's hope. Like, I don't gotta do this job and only get paid $15 an hour. I could do the same thing that you do. And I think that's what I mean by saying people have to see there's more opportunity. At 19 years old, you made 80 grand in 6 months. Who's doing
more
that?
Or less.
Or,
more or less.
More or less. Yeah. I don't want to put it. Don't try to put it. Don't try to put on hit outs. You know.
Yeah.
But you get what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, there's somebody right now still trying to figure it out. They're still in school. They're still having thoughts of what they're gonna do when they get out of school. And you took a leap.
There's some 19-year-olds out there right now that don't even think making that type of money is even possible for them. You know what I'm saying? So you definitely showing them like, man, I could be 18, 19 years old making that type of money. You know what I'm saying? Some 19-year-old watching this right now. For sure. So it's definitely motivation and hope, man. So you transitioned over into sales. Is it everything that you thought it would be? Is this your first sales job, first sales position?
Yeah, so this is my first sales job, and this was nothing like I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
Nah, I got sold a dream. I'm not gonna lie. I got sold. I can come to work at 8:30, leave by 2, make $1,000, $2,000 a day, go home, hit the gym, play the game, go to sleep, do it again the next day.
Yeah.
And it was not like that.
Really?
Now, man, I mean, forget the training. The training was intense, but forget that, because everybody gets through the training. You either get through the training or you'll never make it on the floor. Because if you can't discipline yourself to get through training, you'll never survive on the floor, at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
But when I got on the floor, it was like eat, sleep, timeshare, repeat, man. It was, I wake up in the morning, prepare myself mentally for work, go in, pitch a few families, get no deal, stress on the way home why I didn't sell that family, try to think what could have I done better. And then I'd get home and it was timeshare videos, books, and then I'd be like, man, it's time to unwind.
Yeah.
I throw on some Hulu, Netflix, but all I could think about is timeshare.
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe if I go to sleep, I'll be able to cool down. I go to sleep, all I can dream about is timeshare.
Yeah.
Sales. Oh, what happens if I lose my job? What happens what if I said this? What if I didn't say this? Like, and it was like that every single day, probably 2, maybe 3 months. And nobody told me that.
Mm-hmm.
I was told a dream. I was told make it through training, hit the floor, we got you. and you know what? They helped me out, but man, it was not what I thought. Not at all. But I'm still glad that I did it though.
How long did it take for things to click for you? Because it sounds like you're doing pretty good within the 6 months that you've been here.
So it probably took me a month to lose that anxiety of, oh man, I got a family. Because I used to get scared, like a sick feeling in my chest before I used to meet these families. And I was never really like, I mean, I'm not the most sociable person, but I've never really been shy per se.
Mm-hmm.
After that month, it was like, okay, now I know what I'm doing. Not know what I'm doing, like getting sales, but like now I know my pitch. And it wasn't a great pitch, but I knew my pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after that, it probably took me 2, 3 more to get closing on the standard, like consider myself, hey, like I can hang now. Like it took me a few months to get like that.
Yeah.
But then I'd say probably 5 months deep, November, I kind of hit the point where I was like, I'm starting to feel a little confident now. Like I know if I say this, if I got this type of family in front of me, I can cook a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I'm still getting to that point, because where I'm at right now is like, yes, I'm doing well. And I know that what I'm doing is me. I'm doing it. But at the same time, it's like, I got to sell myself that I can keep doing it. That's
sure.
kind of the point where I'm at right now. But I'd say probably 4 or 5 months to really get to a point where I feel like I come into work and I feel good about pitching, and I go home knowing I did all I could to get a sale.
Correct. I think it comes with experience. The more families you see, the more objections you get that you see is like repetitive. You kind of learn how to overcome it when they come back. But you said something about training, and I know like training is the foundation of it all, but then there's another learning curve when you hit the floor. So what was that like?
So the training that we get, like you said, is the foundation. And it's, how do I say this? I want to make sure I think about this before I say it. The training that we get will guarantee you sales if you do it right. You're guaranteed 2 out of 10, maybe 3 out of 10 if you do the training right. But what they don't teach you in training, and they try to, but you can't learn it unless you're on a table, is delivery. Like, as much as I can role play in class, I'm never going to deliver it like I do on a table. Even today, my delivery on a table depends on the family that I have in front of me. That's not something that you can learn unless you're actually sitting there. Another thing, they teach urgency. They teach you how to close families, but you don't really learn how to close a family till you get them. Like, even whenever we're doing an urgency, saying like, oh, if the price of everything is going up, when would be the best time to do it, right? When would be the best time to get involved? And the family be like, now, yeah. But it's like, you don't learn that that's not a good answer.
Right.
You don't learn until you hit the floor that you got to get them to really believe in what they're saying. You got to get them to give you that feedback. And I feel like that's something that, yes, training teaches it, but you can't really learn it until you at least see maybe 50, 100 families.
And you probably learn how to dig deeper, and not just to take that, but to make them elaborate on why.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's something that, that's actually a great way for me to respond to the question you asked me earlier, Dylan.
Stop.
You said, when did everything click for you?
Yeah.
November was when I realized, look, if they say that the best time is to do it now, I should probably ask them why it's the best time to do it now. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Something I like doing now is I got husband and wife. If I know the wife is more into it, I'll ask a closing question to the wife, like, why is it the best time to do now? And then I'll ask the husband, do you agree? Why do you think your wife feels that way?
For sure.
That's something that took me months to figure out. And it's so simple.
Yeah, so simple.
But I just didn't know.
That's what's up, though.
Yeah. You know what? Another good one, too, is well, let me ask you that before we go into this. What do you feel is the most important step in the presentation?
What do I feel is the most important step? We're talking A through Z's or owners?
A through Z.
Pencil pitch.
The pencil pitch. Okay, why is that?
100%. I feel, at least on my tours, without a pencil pitch, I don't have a shot at a sale. Because the pencil pitch justifies buying the program. Because without the pencil pitch, the people can easily tell me, yeah, we weren't interested in buying anyway. We don't plan on spending money today. We don't need it. But with a good pencil pitch, I feel like a family will never say that. And if they do say that, all I have to do is refer back to my pencil pitch.
Yeah.
Now, for the viewers and the listeners that are tuned in, what is a pencil pitch?
The pencil pitch is basically a way for us to justify a few things. We go over vacation homes, hotels, and timeshare. With the vacation home, we justify the maintenance fees. Because if you own a home, you're going to pay maintenance. On the hotel section, we take all of the money that they're going to spend on vacation right now. We add it up. And if it's too low, we inflate it.
Facts.
And then we tell them for that same money that they're spending on hotel rooms anyway, if they could have a condo, which makes more sense. And then when they choose the condo, we tell them, rather than going to the condo, going back home and losing your money, wouldn't it make sense to own the condo outright? And if they tell you no, you have to beat that family in right there. But 99% of the time, they're like, yes, it makes more sense to own the condo for the same money I'm going to spend anyway than to rent it. And that justifies the sale from then on.
Okay. So if I'm an owner, what is the most important step of the presentation if I'm an owner?
Discovery. Trust and
This
discovery.
guy's good, man. Where you guys get this from? Where you get this guy from?
November, it was clicking, boy.
Trust and discovery.
Discovery, yo, that is, you hit it right on the nail, because the discovery is going to tell you everything that you need to know. You know what I'm saying? It's going to create the path for you. You're right. So what is some good, why do you say discovery?
Because with an owner, especially more recently, they've limited us a lot on what we can sell. With an owner, 99% of the time, they don't want to buy anything else. They never come in saying, I want more. So you have to find out any little tick, any little reason for you to sell them something, and you got to blow it up. And then if they don't have anything per se that you can blow up, you got to fabricate it. But whenever they have something already, your chances of a deal are much higher, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Whenever they have something already, what do you mean?
For example, let's say mom and dad, they're in their 70s, they have 3 kids. They own a 2-bedroom unit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, which kid do you guys love the least?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't bring their kids here. Their kids are grown. But through a discovery, I find out that they got 3 kids and only 2 bedrooms. 1 kid is going to inherit nothing. That's example of discovery.
Got you. I like it.
You know, a lot of people that start in the business, they have a choice. They say, I either want to go to frontline. Some resorts call it frontline. Some call it dayline. I want to go to frontline or in-house. And a lot of people fear in-house because in-house is dealing with owners, people who already own. And then there's people like yourself who take it all. And I think that one of the key things that everyone needs to know, if you start an in-house, you kind of become stronger because you can deal with multiple different tour sources. You could deal with owners, exchanges, renters, guests of owners, guests of exchangers. You kind of like, you got all these different powers. But if you start on frontline, you won't have that experience. And I think a lot of people fear starting in in-house. Now, you went in-house because you were already in that environment, right? But now with that knowledge, you can pretty much go anywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. Obviously, I haven't worked frontline or dayline in any other resort. I think that our renters would be similar to those tours, but from what I've heard, our renters are kind of a higher quality tour than the frontline tours.
I mean, what do you think? You ever did frontline?
Frontline, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. Frontline and in-house. I started in in-house, but I've also transitioned into frontline. Which one do you like better? You like working with owners more?
Definitely owners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in the blood. The owners already believe in the product or tried the product. They already have an understanding that this what they want to do with it. I think if they have a problem, we just fix it.
I feel like with the owners, more specifically, why I like them, number one, I mean, it's a little less work, but the fact that they have already spent money today. With an A through Z, you might get that objection, hey, I'm not doing anything today. But with an owner, they can never tell you that because they've done it. They've spent money today. And they can't tell me they haven't because they don't do B-backs. So
Yeah.
it's like, if you have a sale, it's always going to come down to money or them just not wanting the product. So if I can get them to want whatever I'm selling them, it's going to come down to money. And they'll never tell me not today.
Well, I was always told with an owner, you have to create a problem.
Yeah.
And
For sure.
if they don't fix the problem, then they're going to be stuck with something that doesn't work for them, right? So either way, they're going to have that issue. So I think that's the difference between owners and a non-owner, because the non-owner, yeah, they don't really got to make the decision. They can continue renting, but they're not stuck with something like that they've already committed to.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because a lot of times the problems that we create are insane. Telling these people that their equity's all messed up or the fact that they own every other year and they're missing all of these benefits. Like, nobody can leave feeling good that they said no unless they've done this 5, 6, 7 times. And at that point, I mean, it's tough.
So on the in-house side, to me personally, it's just a lot more games being played. You know, because if I had a frontline tour and I do an A through Z, I'm just creating the dream, right? I'm just building the dream, putting them in a picture of what their life could be like if they were to, you know, become owners with us here today. But like you said, on the ownership side, on the owner side, they already own, right? So we got to create a problem. So now it's just like you're just playing games at this point with them, you know? You know what I'm saying? It's just like...
Nah, it's a lot of acting. It's a lot of acting.
For sure.
I don't think people really understand that. I mean, I try to explain that it's like acting. People should take acting classes, but at what part of the presentation do you feel is the most theatrical?
There's two sections. I would say the first is whenever you create the problem, because if your discovery either isn't good enough or they just don't have any issues, whatever problem you create, they have to believe in. And if you go and tell a monotone that everything is wrong and you don't leave any justification and you don't seem like that you're really pushing this issue, I feel like a lot of times they'll blow you over and won't believe. And the second time, and I think the more important time, is on the back end with the manager. Because whenever your manager is coming in on an owner, a lot of times it's not just to be the second face and make it more affordable. A lot of times it's more to secure a sale. Like the other day, I had sold a family that had been offered the same pitch, the same unit that I was selling him. It was an owner. He had been offered it for $9,000 by telesales. And just for context, that's below my minimum. My minimum was 14. And me and my manager got this sale through nothing but acting on the back end. I was yelling at him. He was yelling at me. We were fighting on the table.
For sure.
Like, we were getting aggressive. But the family ain't know that.
Yeah.
The family was looking at us like, oh, I'm their hero. I'm defending them.
Yeah.
And my manager is the awful man that came to steal their timeshare. Like,
Yeah.
But without that interaction, I would have never had that sale. So
A lot of sales reps don't know about that. See, there's a lot of sales reps that don't know anything about, dancing with their TO. That's what you call a dance. Y'all got to dance with each other. A lot of reps don't know that. You got to have a dance with them, whether you guys are yelling at each other or playing good cop, bad cop, or both of you guys are trying to help them because of a situation that happened or something like that. So, yeah, you got to have that dance with a TO. That's good that you have that, though, man.
Now, the back end, the dance in the back end and all that is not really taught in training. So at what point did you establish a good dance?
honestly, that was a lot more recent because with the way that we have it at my resort is we're switched managers either on a daily or weekly basis. So you're not working with the same person over and over and over again unless you're selling. If you're producing well, you're able to pick your manager for the week. And until recently, I didn't have the privilege of picking my manager. So I was kind of always getting tossed around from manager to manager. And I feel that it takes time to build that dance. You can't just talk it out, make a game plan, and go. I mean, you can, but it won't work all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially on A through Z's, because there's not really much of a dance there. There is, but it's not huge.
Yeah.
But I feel like more recently, I have a manager that I've been working all the time with. He's my number one guy. I love working with him. And he's been helping me a lot, especially when I was newer. But I'd say probably 3-4 months in is when we really developed that dance. And now I know when I go to a table and I bring him, I'm like, hey, we're doing this. And he's like, all right, let's do it. And we know exactly what we're doing. Yeah. It's like good cop, bad cop, or hey, I'm bringing you in to help me help this family. It's like you said, there's a whole list of dances. But I only have that with one of my managers, and we have 10 total. Mm. So I feel like that's just something that would take time to really build, maybe a couple months of working with somebody consistently.
Yeah, you definitely got to be creative. I remember when I was on the table, I used to have my coworkers, shout out David Cohen. We got to get him on the show. I used to tell David, "Hey, look, man, I'm going on this table. I'm gonna be going over this proposal. In like 10 minutes, I want you to come tell me that the unit's been sold, snatch it off my table, and just walk away. And I'm gonna be yelling your name like, hey, come back, and you just keep walking." He's like, all right, man, I'll do it. So you got to get creative on the table. So when he came and did that, the family's looking shocked, crazy. They can't believe it happened. So now I got to go fight for them to try to, make sure, no, you guys had first rights to it first. Let me see what I can do. Now I go run off on the table. We run around the corner and we eating hot dogs, laughing. You know what I'm saying? So you got to get creative on the table, man, for sure.
Nah, that's real because that family I was just talking to you about how me and my manager have been fighting because he came in as the director of sales, and I told this man that I work customer service.
Yeah.
But the next day, me and my manager, we were just chilling, having a great time, laughing it up. And the guy came up for breakfast and see me laughing at the guy I was cussing out the day before.
Oh, my goodness.
So it's like we almost got caught in that. The guy was cool, but yeah, no, that's crazy.
I think the dance is with different TOs is just, it varies. And I think the better you get, the more you can tell a person, come to my table like this. But in the beginning, you're new and you're not directing anything. And I remember hearing something that always stuck with me. There was a statement that says, the TO works for you. The TO works for you. And I don't know if that kind of made me feel like great at the time because, they don't eat unless you eat, But in the beginning, it seems like when you don't know, you have to go with their direction. But now as you get better, you can say, this is how I set it up. This is how I want you to come to the table. Now, do you find yourself challenging when you try to direct? Like, let's say you're not working with the person that you normally close with and you're working with someone else and you try to tell them to come to the table and they do the opposite. Does that happen to you?
Nah, because I'm going to be honest, I don't like stepping on people's toes. And I kind of know my place a little bit. Every time I work with a manager I don't normally work with, I show, like if I have an owner, I show them my account. I'm like, hey, how do you want me to pitch this? And sometimes they'll tell me, hey, I want you to pitch it like this. Or other times they'll be like, do your thing. But regardless, I'll go in pitching what they say. And if that route doesn't work out, then I'll diverge and, communicate. But I feel like communication is key on that. Because only one time I had a manager get mad at me for not pitching what they wanted. And that's just because I didn't understand what I was doing when I was still new. So no, I wouldn't say I ever had a experience like that where they came in and we weren't on the same page.
All right, cool. It happens though. I hear it all the time. Like people say, like I told him to do this and he did this.
I hear stories of that all the time, but it's never happened to me, thankfully.
I think the managers have, even though they go on to different tables and their mind can be all over the place, I think sometimes they feel like this strategy is going to work. Regardless of what you told me, I think this is going to be the route. Even though you were with them for 2 hours or whatever, they feel like they've determined which route to go. And it may be opposite of what you were thinking. And when it works, it's good. But when it doesn't work, it's like it doesn't listen. I hate working with this person.
I think what it comes down to is like this business is very merit based. So the managers, they've done a lot to be managers, to become TOs, whatever you want to call them. So when it comes to what they say, most of the time it's gonna fly. But at least more recently for me, because when I started, it didn't matter what I say. I didn't know nothing. But more recently that I've been, closing more, when I tell a manager like, hey, like, this is what happened. I think we should go this route. I don't really get much, they kind of respect what I say now. Yeah. Whereas before it was like, nah, we're going to do this. Whereas now it's like, okay, nah, I get that. And sometimes they'll be like, hey, if we went this route, it might work better. And I'll be like, yeah, that might work, but, this came up and this came up. And we just kind of discuss and, figure out the best route to go, like together, almost like a team.
Yeah, but you build that over time because especially like how Rich was saying, when you're brand new, you kind of go with what the TO is saying. Yeah. But once you start popping deals and they know you for popping deals, then they trust your judgment. They trust your lead. They let you do your own thing. Let's say you don't have nothing at the table and you go to them and say, man, look, I don't got nothing. They'll tell you, okay, go ahead and sign them up. They won't even hit the table because they develop that level of trust for you. They know when you say there's nothing there, that there's nothing there, and they don't have to come behind you and clean it up or anything like that. But let me ask you this. What would you say is the hardest objection that you face on the table?
The hardest objection?
Yeah.
It's got to be not today, because any other objection that you get, either doing your presentation or even in the back end, you can overcome, at least in my opinion. But not today means that you didn't do a good enough presentation. And at that point, it's almost too late to save it.
So no urgency, basically.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you can pound the urgency in, and a family will still tell you not today. And you can work around it and turn that not today into, so you just can't afford it today. But if you could afford it today, you would sign today, right? And if they're still telling you no.
That's a tie down, by the way.
Yeah. But if they're still telling you no after that, then the presentation wasn't good enough. And at that point, you can't reverse time and start over. I mean, you can always try and repitch it, but now you're 2 hours, 3 hours deep, and they're looking at their clock like, hey, he's telling us the same thing for the fourth time again. So not today would be the hardest, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Got you.
Well, obviously you got past those people that wasn't saying not today, and you made it through the summer. You made it through the little slower season of the year, September, October. You turned up in November for sure. We had BCR. No, not BCR. It's not Black College Reunion. It's Classic Weekend here in Orlando, Florida. Oh, yeah. And we also had Thanksgiving. And then we had that slow season in December, and then we had Christmas and New Year. So weeks 51 and 52 was the peak. And then, now we're going to get... Are you taking vacations early this year or anything?
I'm taking a week in January.
Okay. Yeah. You going anywhere special?
Nah, I'm just taking time off. Yeah. I might stay a weekend at a beach or something.
You've been going hard. You've been going hard. So your New Year's ahead of you. You reset. Everyone's back to zero. You know what I'm saying? I know that at your resort, it's a large resort, so there's a lot of numbers that was flown around. You got people that made 600,000 and stuff like that. There's actually a new class that was just released not too long ago. In our last episode, we talked about, when was the best times to get involved or to get into the game. So obviously you came into the summer, so you had a good run, and now you learned. So now your year's going to go way more better because now you know how to manage your time. You have different tours. You've made it to the team, so now you're getting additional tours. So, when I was sitting down with some people earlier, we talked about, how to set your goal for the year. And if you reverse engineer your goal by first determining how much money you want to make, there's a formula that you can calculate all the way down to telling you how many tours you need to take for the year. And I feel like the only way to get the amount of tours you need is to be able to get on teams as well. If your resort has teams, then you understand that there's additional opportunities and different circumstances that those people come in front of you. It's not just off the wheel. It's not just a renter or owner. It could be an owner just purchased last year. It could be a person who purchased a package, a trial package, and that's going to get you to that goal. So kudos to you, man, and good job for doing your damn thing. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So I
was going to say, piggyback on that, being on those teams is definitely going to, it's an advantage. There's more opportunities, put it that way. It's more opportunities for you to make more money. So that's good. Anybody out there that's at a resort right now, you want to try to work your way onto those special teams that you have at your specific resort. Maybe it's first-time backs. Maybe they bought a travel package or something of that nature, and now they're coming back to the resort for the first time using it. You want to be on that team that are seeing those families.
So now that you've been in the game for, a good season, what do you think is the biggest misconception about the whole timeshare product?
The biggest misconception? Probably the biggest misconception is that it's a scam, because it's not a scam. I mean, is it a great investment? I'm not going to endorse that, but I mean, the product works, and for some people, it really does change their lives. For some people, it saves them money. For some people, it gets them out of the house. Some people spending a little extra money on the timeshare will save their family. And every single tour that I get, at least the A through Z's, I tell them timeshare is not for everyone. So if you don't buy, I'm not going to hold any grudge against you. Now, I'm still going to push that timeshare like crazy and make sure that they buy and make sure they understand that it's for them. But it's truly not for everyone. Like, for some people it works, for some people it doesn't. But it all just depends on the program that you have and how you actually use it and if you actually use it.
I agree.
Yeah, that's a big one. If you use it. If you don't use it, then you already know. I guess that's when people can say it's a scam. But my aunt bought a timeshare. She bought it. She's been an owner for, 15 odd years, and she's only used it twice.
Does she rent it?
She don't rent it. She don't rent it. She doesn't know about the exchange program. She don't know she gets free getaway. She doesn't know anything. It's sad. There's people out there like that, though.
We would like to speak to her. I mean, what's funny? There's going to be a tour that comes in with that same scenario, and they will buy again.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have the right person to say, I can help you. I'm going to push you. I'm going to show you how to manage this better. And I think that's what, we like about owners, because it just takes the right person to say, you're using the product wrong. Why aren't you using it? Why aren't you going somewhere? Why aren't you possibly renting it to someone else? Now, some resorts allow people to rent their week, some don't, right? But I believe that when people have the flexibility to offset their costs or to dump off their additional weeks, they'll be like, you know what? I'll give that a shot. Do you get people like that?
I do. A lot of people are willing to try and willing to make it almost pay for itself. Not entirely, but make it help. But I feel like the problem with a lot of people is they get sold a dream and then they don't work the dream. Like, for example, when it comes to the rental, yes, your unit can pay itself off. Yes, you can cover your maintenance fee. Yes, it can be self-sufficient when it's cashed out. And these people get sold that, and they're so excited. And then they go home, and they don't rent it. And then they come back and blame the salesman that sold them a piece of property that they planned on renting and didn't rent.
Yeah.
Now, obviously part of it is to the salesman's fault for making it sound too good, but that's their job, man. Like, that's on you for not making it work.
Yeah.
But do you believe in rental?
Like,
That the person can rent their week?
100%. People do it all the time. I have an owner that actually does it. I have an owner that rents it out their week, and the person that rented their week from him came and bought timeshare from me.
Get out of here.
Swear to God, yeah.
That raises your not just credibility, but your what's the word I'm looking for? Like, you're passionate about it because you know it works.
Yeah.
Like me, I know it works. I know people can rent. I've seen people. I've helped people. I've guided people. I've seen it exchange hands. So I totally believe that it works. But some people maybe inflate the numbers or maybe over exaggerate. But there's no reason why a person couldn't rent their week to a family member, friend, or even a stranger because the resources are out there. But some resorts don't let you do that at all.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah, some resorts don't let you do it. I think there's very few that allow you to freely tell the person that you have this opportunity to do so. But it's always been in the business. You know what a guest certificate is with Interval? That is a way for you to put a week in someone else's name.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to be spelled in black and white. Why the hell you putting it in someone else's name? But they've given these people the tools. And if you're a platinum member with Interval, guess what? There's no fee to put it in someone else's name.
Yeah.
So I mean, things are in place to help these people, but in our business, sometimes it gets a little stretched, you know. And I think some people, if they don't, like you said, it's like saying, you know, my New Year's resolution is to lose X amount of pounds. Like, you have the blueprint, but if you don't follow the diet plan and the workout plan, you're not going to lose those pounds. 100%. So that's the truth. So you're right about that, and I appreciate that explanation. So some resorts are can you for saying that, you know, those are things that people can do, but it's true, they can do it, but I guess you're not supposed to involve yourself with getting them to that goal. But it is true, it does work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, another thing is product knowledge too. How Rich was just going in. If you have platinum, you don't have to pay, you know, little extra fees and things like that. Some owners just don't know how to use their program, right? So if you're knowledgeable enough on your product knowledge to be able to share with them how to use the program, that'll help them out also. Let me ask you this, Rizk. Do you have an area growth pitch?
I do, actually.
Okay.
My aerial growth pitch isn't anything special. It's just little tidbits of what I've heard from other people.
Mm-hmm.
As of right now, I'm using two things, or I'd say three things. The first I use is Universal's Epic Universe.
That's big.
But the way that I pitch Epic Universe is I don't pitch it as, oh, Epic Universe is coming, everything's going to get more expensive. The way that I pitch Epic Universe is coming, the demand is going to go up. What's going to happen to your exchange power?
Mm-hmm.
That's phase one for me.
That's big.
Phase two is Disney. Disney's opening up a new park. I don't even know if it's real, but I got the article. Star Wars Force World or something.
Yeah.
I pitched the hell out of that. When Star Wars Force World's going to come, what do you think is going to happen to the price of real estate?
Yeah.
And then I try to build the value of the product based off of that. And then phase three of my area growth pitch is more specific to Westgate. We're doing renovations on our property. So I love to take a family to a renovated unit, and I'll tell them, hey, this unit is $80,000. And I'll take them to an unrenovated unit, the 5-bedroom. Guys, this unit is $191,000, and it's unrenovated. What do you think is going to happen to the price when we renovate this unit next year? I think it's going to double or triple.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I like to use the area growth to build value. And at that point, I tie back in Epic Universe. I tie back in Disney. Guys, realistically, with everything that's happening, what's going to happen to the price of these condos? And then we sell them for 20 grand.
Yeah. I like it. I like it. I love it. I love it. You're saying everything right. You know, there's a lot of reps that they don't have an area growth pitch, man. They just out here trying to put on a suit and walk around trying to be cute. And it takes a little bit more than that. You know what I'm saying? You got to have your pitch down right, man. You got to have your pitch down right? And you're not just saying things just to say it. There's a reason why you're saying these things. You know what I'm saying? So when you tell them, you know, what do you think is going to happen to the price of real estate? What do you think is going to happen to the price of this? Is it going to double? Is it going to triple? There's a reason, you know, why you're sharing those things with them. But that's good, man. I like it, man. whoever trained you, man, they trained you right. Wherever you got this, wherever you got, wherever they drop these jewels and these nuggets off to you at, man, you got it from the right person because you on your way for sure.
And I was blessed because coming from admin, I had almost the entire sales floor willing to help me, whereas most people didn't really have that opportunity. I had everybody. People normally you have to go to someone and ask for help.
Yeah,
I had people coming to me like, "Look, man, your numbers ain't good. Listen, you got to sit down. You got to learn this." And I would listen to them, and they would give me tips. And at first, it kind of derailed me a little bit because I tried to do what everybody was saying.
Mm-hmm.
But after time, it's kind of like filter everything, take what works for me, add it in, listen what the managers are saying. Because almost everything in my pitch, there's only one thing in my pitch that I could say I think I created. And I'm not even sure if somebody's done it before. But my entire pitch for every single pitch I know is tidbits of other people's information.
Absolutely.
Put together in my delivery.
Yeah. That's how I know you're going to be successful. Because I came through the same, I went through the same thing, same channels where it took people to say, bro, your presentation is too long. Let me show you how to do this. You know, oh, yo, I heard they put you on a 2 for 10. Let me holler at you. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some people that know that you're a good person, that you're genuine, that you got it in you, and they say, let me put you on the game. You know what I'm saying? And there were some people that, when I was new, just like you, put me to the side. Just like you talked about Paris, one of them put me to the side, Paris Taylor. I'll never forget Nancy Morales. I don't know if you know Nancy Morales. Nancy Morales was a beast, did the same thing. You know what I'm saying? There's a few different people, different TOs. You haven't met Fest. Fest is in Dubai right now. He lives in Dubai. But different people that put you to the side and said, you're a beast and I see it in you. Let me show you what I do. So when you become this master closer, it's bits and pieces from everyone. And everyone on the floor has been through that. There's no one pitch that came, you know what I'm saying? Like we may come up with our own stuff. I come up with my own stuff. I get creative. But Ken Lawson was my TO. Ken Lawson taught me a lot. And I would take it to my level. Like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put this spin on it, you know? So keep doing your thing, man. I'm very, very proud of you, man, because I've seen that. And look, you're still early in the game. Early in the game. Just warming up. Now and that's how it was. When I started in July. So I had that run in the summer, you know what I'm saying? And then now you get to see the game from the start. You know what I'm saying? The race has reset, and now you get to see the seasons, and you get to get on, now you're on the teams, and I follow the same path. So it's going to be a good ride, bro.
Thank you, man. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely looking forward to it.
I just wish I could turn back the clock and start when I was 19.
For sure.
You know,
for sure.
Everybody says that to me, man.
Facts. You know what I'm saying?
It's what it is, man.
Nah.
So I'll tell you this. When we have people come on the show, we always say, yo, we want to invite you back on the show. You know, come back on here. And they always say, all right, I'm going to get my $1 million ring and then I'll be back. And we don't see them. They don't make it. They never make it back. So I'm telling you, man, we definitely want to see you on the show again. You know what I'm saying? Bring that $1 million ring back with you when you come.
All right, man. Give me. I'll see you next summer.
Yeah, it's $2 million now.
It's $2 million now.
Yeah, it's $2 million. Yeah, so as a tradition, everyone that comes on the show, we thank you for blessing us. I know you got your sold in 60 shot glass. You know what I'm saying? For every sale, every time you take an Adidas, go home, take a shot. It could be of water in case, you know what I'm saying, you don't drink. Yeah. But tradition is we shuffle the sold in 60 objection cards because we believe that objections is a key to get into a sale. Our viewers are coming from all over. We got people in VA, Wisconsin, Orlando.
Shout out Wisconsin and
Vegas, random, you know, all over. And I love the fact that they tap in, so we appreciate them for tapping in. But the objection cards, we're going to go over one. And we're going to let you pick one, and then we're going to see how you would handle it. So let's see.
Don't judge me too much. I'm still new to the game.
I'll let D do it. D, I shuffled them.
I got a feeling you about to crush this objection,
right,
brother.
Let's hear it.
So the objection is going to be at the top. When you pull the card, read the objection so that way the viewers can hear which objection.
You guys want me to fast fire or take a second to think?
Just like you do on the table.
Thing.
Yeah,
I'll take this one.
Do your thing.
Right here.
All right.
The maintenance goes up all the time. All right, that's a good one.
How would you handle that? A guest is on the table, tours on the table telling you the maintenance goes up all the time.
Okay, look, John and Mary, I understand the fact that you would think the maintenance going up all the time is an issue. But did you know that the maintenance in the COVID year actually went down by $7? Now, I understand that's not a huge amount of money, but the maintenance isn't a way for Westgate to make money off the owners. I know you think that, but you have to understand what goes into the maintenance. Every time there's a plumbing issue, electrical issues, anytime there's a chip on the door, even general maintenance, like whenever we get a hurricane, we get 5 hurricanes a year here in Orlando. Would you prefer to fix the roof every single time something goes wrong on the condo? Or would you prefer to pay a $1,200 fee and have everything taken care of, including an insurance on your condo whenever your kids are throwing around a baseball inside the unit? Please tell me which one would make more sense for you.
Like it.
It was weak. It was weak.
Yeah. But still,
No, it
you're on the
wasn't
right path. I
No,
love it.
It definitely wasn't weak. Don't say that.
Yeah,
because a
I like
person could understand it. You have an analogy.
Yeah.
It makes sense, you know? Maybe we don't have 5 hurricanes all the time, but
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
The maintenance may not have gone down a little bit, but
Yeah.
No, however, the taxes fluctuate. Taxes can go down or up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I like that. Let me see what the back of the card says. For those people that may purchase it, let's see what it says. So you agree that maintenance is important, correct? They did agree maintenance was important on the pencil pitch.
they did.
Okay? All right. So if you look at the resort's beautiful landscaping, painted buildings, and road signs, endless amenities, you can truly appreciate that when you come back, the resort will be in the best condition you can ask for. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. So maintenance maintains the property. So when you come, it's in good quality condition. And when you send somebody down, they can stay in a good resort as well.
That also preserves the value of your property.
Absolutely. There you go.
Yeah.
And with those rebuttals, that's how you get sold in 60. You know what I'm saying? Yo, Rizk,
sure.
we appreciate you, man. I appreciate you tapping in 2024. We hope that you have a big year, And please come back and you know, tell us about your year and show us what you learned because, I mean, right now you're up. It's up and it's stuck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We appreciate you, King.
Thank you, man.
All right?
Appreciate you having me.
That
man.
was Rizk. You're now watching the Sold in 60. If you haven't, go ahead and follow us on Instagram at Sold in 60. Like, comment, share. And if you want to hear a topic, go ahead and put it in the comments or send a DM because that's where we communicate with everyone so we know what's going on. We appreciate you tapping in. We hope you have a big year ahead of you. You're now watching Sold in 60 with your host, Richie Rich, and my man, Down Payment Dillan. Peace.
We out.